Well, I'm just going to give you guys some introduction. My name is Mark Stefanelli. My friend and colleague Craig Stone. We are absolutely honored to have been chosen by the class of 2024 to be the Masters of Ceremonies for this evening. It's a very, very fun evening. I think everyone's going to really enjoy it. Just a few housekeeping points to share. This event is being live streamed tonight for those guests who are not able to attend in person. Please make sure your phones are on silent. If you have to leave the room, please exit through the rear. If you need a washroom, washrooms are down the stairs out the back door across the hall. Jennifer Armstrong is the photographer for the event. She'll be taking pictures through the entire evening. If you plan to take pictures, please remain seated and avoid flash photography, and she will be available during the reception for pictures. If there is an emergency, we ask you to exit through the doors at the bottom, proceed down the hall, through the medical school, down the steps, and out in the parking lot number 30 next to the building. So now we can welcome our class of 2024.
So welcome and thank you for joining us this evening as we gather to celebrate the remarkable achievements of our newest doctors. This class has overcome numerous obstacles to arrive at this significant milestone. Their journey began in September 2020 amidst the unprecedented challenges of a global pandemic. Despite the uncertainties, we've adapted with resilience, successfully completed a program for which we are very proud. Before we begin, we would like to acknowledge that the lands on which Memorial University campuses are situated are in the traditional territories of diverse Indigenous groups. And we acknowledge with respect the histories and cultures of the Beothuk, Mi'kmaq, Mi'kmaq, Innu, and Inuit of this province. We encourage everyone to reflect on the lands where you're located and the Indigenous people for whom these lands are traditional territory. So,
That's easy. Easy.
hey, we're done. Thanks for everyone for coming to Shingles Night. This night has been a long-standing tradition of Memorial Medical School. This is my fourth time being MC. Unlike my older MC, it's only his third. So, I was in class in 1993, 31 years ago. My shingle is still in my office, and I think it means as much to me. Here we go. I think it means as much to me as my real diploma. Here's my first wife. It's real easy. So far, my only, if she heard that, I'd be dead.
You got it.
So time really flies. For the family and friends of the graduates, this is a much more laid-back ceremony than what you attended today, right? It's the one was today, correct? Yeah. It was fun, yeah. It was really light, wasn't it? At the Arts and Culture Center, this is where Memorial Med School graduates will receive their shingle that can hang in their office for years to come. And we'll hand out some awesome awards tonight too. So this is me and my wife and my shingle from 1993. So a little bit about me. I'm a bit of a Newfoundland outdoor type guy. I was born and raised here. I didn't win any fancy awards like you're going to see tonight. I was a middle of the road kind of guy. So I won the Logan and Bryce Award at my thing. You can see the cheesy, we didn't have fancy PowerPoint things back then. So if anybody, I'm sure some of the older people here know who Logan and Bryce were. They were a cheesy hunting show on Newfoundland on Saturday afternoons on MTV. It was in the 80s called Newfoundland Outdoors. So I got the Lloyd and Bryce Award when I was in that. So here's my first boat ride. Safety first, no life jackets. Pretty sweet, eh? My first canoe. First fishing trip with my grandfather with bamboo rods, no fancy graphite rods there. But I'm a surgeon now, so it's a little fancier, you know. I got a nicer boat, a nicer canoe. Now I get a guide to take my salmon off the line. So my grandfather would be ashamed of that. Anyway, for the most part, I'm a father, husband, and orthopedic surgeon. All the students know what orthopedic surgeons do, but for the non-medical people in the room, I'm going to tell you a little bit about it. We fix broken bones and replace people's joints when they get arthritic. Erin and me working away. So we're often known as the knuckle dragging, loud, obnoxious, dumb, cocky, overpaid carpenters that wasted their time going to medical school. Medical school wasted their time teaching us about the Krebs cycle, history taking, and compassion. But when you break your femur, all of a sudden we're your best friend. This disrespect really, really cuts us deep. Like I look tough on the outside, in here. The jokes are brutal, the orthopedic jokes. Just to show you how cutting these things are, I'll tell you a couple. Don't endorse them. Okay. How do you hide $20 from an orthopedic surgeon? You either put it on the patient's chart. You tape it to the patient's chest. Or the most horrible. I need a minute. Most horrible. There's no way to hide $20 from an orthopedic surgeon. And also, what do you call two orthopedic surgeons looking at a chest x-ray? A double-blind study. What are you laughing at?
You don't look at chest X-ray.
It's the hate. We cry ourselves to sleep at night. See, me, personally, I'm one of these holistic orthopedic surgeons, right? So I don't just treat the fracture, I actually treat the whole bone. So these hurtful attitudes don't exist for my co-MC. I think we're kind of picked for this reason. The dichotomy here, he's a neurologist. He takes long histories, carefully examines patients for hours. He breaks news to patients about life-changing, horrible diseases, life-threatening diseases. Neurologists are the caring thinkers, but they don't fix anything. A room of them could be replaced with a CT scanner. They get all the glory, working 6 hours a day, effectively doing nothing. When we slave in the OR all night long, fixing drunk bozos whose last words were, "Hold my beer and watch this." So thanks for letting me vent. Feel a whole lot better. So on a more serious note, Dr. Eaton was the MC for Shingles for years. He did mine and he did it up to like 4 or 5 years ago. He retired from the university after a long, distinguished career. Now he works at Marble Mountain here as this winter passed. He teaches little kids how to ski out at Marble Mountain. Great fella. Anyway, me and Mark have big shoes to fill. He'd get up here with his guitar and he'd sing songs, making fun of our profession. Anyway, all I can play is Hotel California and Lion Eyes. And I and the audience have to be half drunk before we do that. But I left my guitar and my beer at home because I didn't think Dr. McKeen would be very happy with that. So I hope everyone enjoys this unofficial, more relaxed, better graduation night tonight. To all the graduates, enjoy every minute of your career because 30 years seems like a blink. Get all the clinical exposure you can. Every patient has something to teach you. Enjoy the journey because there's no destination. And most important, don't piss off the nurses. Don't get behind on your taxes. So I'm going to hand it over to my co-MC, Dr. Stefanelli. Looking forward to about the CFA can come up with some retaliation.
So as Craig mentioned, I am a CFA. For those non-Newfoundlanders in the audience, a CFA means I come from away. I've lived here for 30 years. I'm still a freaking CFA. But this is my hometown, the beautiful, lovely lead zinc smelter town of Trail, British Columbia. I went to UBC for my medical school where I met two Newfoundlanders who were doing their residency, Bruce Aylward and Jane Gardner. And they were such great representatives of Newfoundland that 6 of us came here. I'm the only one that stayed. But Trail is a classic town filled with Italian people, hence the name Stefanelli. And I'll raise that point in the future because it does have some impact on how I performed in Newfoundland. So I came here for my rotating internship, and back then you used to do a rotating internship, go out and work until you paid off your debts, then go back and do your specialty. That option doesn't exist anymore. When I finished my rotating internship, I went to work in Grand Falls at the Martin Greenland, well, it was then called the Medical Arts Clinic, now the Martin Greenland building. And I got to work with 4 fantastic, legendary rural physicians. Of course, Ross Martin and Dave Greenland, but also Larry Altine and Jim King. And I got to do obstetrics, I got to do emerge, I got to do clinic, I got to do traveling clinic. And so the traveling clinic that we went to was in Roberts Arm. And I come from an Italian community where everybody has a thick accent. I had no trouble discerning the Bay twang. But some of the expressions that I was exposed to in rural Newfoundland totally escaped me. So one of the first patients that I saw, and this symptom has been presented to me even as a neurologist over the years, said, "Doctor, I have a pain up through me." I still don't know what that means. Another patient came in and he said, "Doc, I finds me bird." Now, rural Newfoundland was underserviced then like it is now. And I thought to myself, does he think they plugged a vet into this clinic? Anyways, as Craig pointed out, as a neurologist, we don't have a lot of treatment curative options. And back then, Viagra was not invented. So I could not help that fella either. So we try to make ourselves feel better as neurologists by throwing out fancy words. We use words like prosopagnosia, supranuclear,
He can't even say
ocular motor. That's right, supranuclear ocular motor apraxia. We use words that most people and most physicians don't understand. So, but it makes us feel better because we can't cure much stuff. But I'm going to share a secret. There's a little, sometimes it's a bit of a trick. Like for instance, my favorite diagnosis, multifactorial encephalopathy. Let's break it down. Multi, many, factorial, factors, reasons, encephalo, brain, pathy, sick. So I diagnose people with a sick brain for unknown reason. So you can tell, even though Craig says we're smart, sometimes I don't know that we're that smart. So despite my possible lack of intelligence, we feel that we have to transmit some pearls of wisdom to the class. So with Craig having that Newfoundland outdoors practicality, honesty, and the surgical practicality, we decided to generate some famous and not so famous quotes. And then Craig will give his interpretation as a true Newfoundlander. And I say this sincerely as a CFA. When I say somebody is a true Newfoundlander, that's probably the best compliment you could ever pay an individual. It's a fantastic thing. So here we go. First quote, Eric Arthur Blair, better known as George Orwell, that was his actual pen name, He died at 47. He has two books on what most people would say the top 100 books that you should read before you die, 1984 and Animal Farm. This is a quote that's famous from him. Never use a long word when a short word will do. And Craig's interpretation is,
Keep it simple, boy, and neurology can suck it with all their fancy use of dog.
well, okay, now I get to come back from that. And I actually quote myself here. Medical history is only as good as the history taker. Newfoundland orthopedic surgeon's interpretation.
A what? A history.
Everybody knows Bruce Cockburn, famous Canadian singer-songwriter. Probably didn't know that his father was the chief of radiology at the Ottawa Civic. Anyways, this is from one of his songs, right? Lovers in a Dangerous Time. Got a kick at the darkness till it bleeds daylight. Newfoundland orthopedic surgeon's interpretation.
Just another night on orthopedic call.
I love this movie. Everybody should watch it if they haven't. Princess Bride. William Goldman was the author of the book. Zini, of course, the Sicilian. Never go in a battle of wits against the Sicilian when death is on the line. Newfoundland orthopedic surgeon's interpretation.
Don't go on in a punt in February with 12-foot swells.
Okay, Siddhartha Gautama, the Buddha, the man who is enlightened, right? His quote was, "Do not mistake a finger pointing at the moon for the moon itself." Newfoundland orthopedic surgeon's interpretation.
We're on the road, boys, but Port aux Basques is still a long way.
So every depiction of the Buddha, he's always got long flowing hair. And you can see how Craig and I both keep our hair long. We're trying to become more enlightened. Craig, what did the Buddhists say to the hot dog vendor? This is ad lib here. You don't know? No. Make me one with everything. So Irma Bombeck is a famous American writer, columnist, author of 15 books, the majority of them bestsellers. And she was famous for, well, it's multiple quotes, but one that we specifically pulled was, "Never go to a doctor whose office plants have died." Newfoundland orthopedic surgeon's interpretation.
What the heck are plants doing in an orthopod's office?
Coming near the end of this. This is from the works of Robert Howard. Robert Howard committed suicide at 30 years. He was felt to be the father of sword and sorcery genre of books. And his major character was Conan the Barbarian. So that which does not kill us does not kill us.
It is what it is, by. And again, just another orthopedic night on call.
And Confucius, 600 to 500 BC, the paragon of Chinese sages. He who runs after two hares will catch neither. Newfoundland orthopedic surgeon's interpretation.
Why chase a rabbit when you can have a 30-06?
I'm getting close to the end, guys. So, John Wooden was a famous coach of the UCL basketball team. He won 10 championships in 12 years. Nobody's ever going to repeat that feat. And my brother's friend in California played with Coach Wooden, so he's always coming around with Woodenisms. Whenever you see him, he tells you about a Woodenism. So I figured I had to get one of these in. Things work out best for those who make the best of how things work out. Newfoundland orthopedic surgeon's interpretation.
Buddy can put an arse in a cat.
And on my last one.
Here's the bench.
Yes. This is the best. This is Alicia Fack. She's quite an established lady. She's felt to be the best female author from Turkey. She had an undergraduate degree in international studies, a master's in women's studies, a PhD in political science. She's published 19 novels. This is one of her quotes. And actually, I got this from my yoga instructor. Do not go with the flow, be the flow. A Newfoundland orthopedic surgeon's interpretation.
The heart is only a pump that sends NSAID to the bones.
I also have some. I get a little bit corny, and that's just who I am. But you guys, remember that you are creating your own superpower, the power to heal.
I accept neurologists.
Don't worry, Craig, not one of them matched to neurology. Anyways, to quote Stanley, be mindful that with great power comes great responsibility. Be mindful of that. So you guys are the humane in humanity. There's not much humane in the world these days. So I want you to stay gold, which is another famous quote, of course, S.E. Hinton. So thank you very much. I get to keep going. I've got to introduce Dr. Dolores McKeen, Dean of Medicine. Dr. McKeen received a Doctor of Medicine in 1992 and completed anesthesia postgraduate training in 1997, both at Memorial. She then moved to Halifax to complete an advanced clinical research fellowship in obstetric anesthesia at Dalhousie at the IWK Health Center in 2000. Her last degree was in graduate studies in 2004, where she attained an MSc in clinical epidemiology, also here at Memorial. After completing her fellowship, she stayed in Nova Scotia for 23 years. During this time, she was an anesthesia associate program director, medical director of research, and chief of the IWK Women's and Obstetric Department of Anesthesia. In addition to her medical education roles and Canadian Institutes of Health Research funded research career, she serves in national leadership roles, including past president of the Canadian Anesthesiologists Society. She currently sits on the AFMC Board of Directors, is a Royal College Applied Examinations Board member, a Royal College Residency Accreditation Surveyor, and is the past chairman of the Royal College Awards Committee. She is also a Canadian Certified Physician Executive. In September 2021, Dr. McKeen returned to Newfoundland and Labrador and her alma mater, Memorial University, to become the Vice Dean of Education and Faculty Affairs in the Faculty of Medicine. She is full professor of anesthesia, and as of August 1st, 2023, is the Dean of Medicine. She is the first Memorial graduate to serve as Dean. Please welcome Dr. Dolores McKeen.
Well, that is one hard act to follow. Thank you so very much, Dr. Stone and Stefanelli. I can clearly see next year I'm going to have to up my MC game. And yes, I was from the class of 92, and it was such a privilege and a pleasure for me today to be on that stage congratulating all of this year's MD awardees and to welcome you into the profession of being a medical doctor. As a Memorial graduate, I had a lot of flashbacks to crossing that stage myself 32 years ago. So I very much want to welcome you into an amazing career and an amazing profession. So with that, I want to thank all of the new doctors here today, their family, their friends, faculty, and special guests. Thank you so much for joining us here tonight as we celebrate the Doctor of Medicine class of 2024. It's such a pleasure to be able to have our graduates and so many guests here tonight on campus in the Medical Education Building. A special hello to those of you who are attending virtually and as you log on to help us celebrate the significant achievements of our graduates online. And as I said, it was such an honor and a privilege today to congratulate each and every one of you on the stage as you received your Doctor of Medicine degree. In the coming years and even the decades ahead, and it's hard to believe, as our Masters of Ceremony said, it's been 32 years I've been doing this in this career. It's hard to believe how fast those years will fly by. You will have so many opportunities, however, though, to look back and to recall your time on medical school, celebrate your great times. We all had challenges during those 4 years as well, but you have to look back and think about how much you've accomplished during those 4 years. And there is no doubt during the past 4 years, everybody's lives have changed, but as medical learners, there certainly was a huge impact over the past 4 years and the experience that you had relative to other people. Compared to other medical graduates in the last 100 years, you've become experts in public health. You've developed and listened to guidelines on pandemics. You were some of the very first recipients to receive the coronavirus vaccine. We all pivoted to virtual health and we had to use personal protection. And now society is coping with the post-COVID world. And all of this you had to do while you're in your 4 years of medical education and training. So well done. It was a tough 4 years, we know. And it was exceptionally tough, I think, for this particular group. So you applied to medical school in 2019, and you had no idea that you were starting out your career and that the pandemic would occur. But between all of those ups and downs, you've worked hard and you're here today. Such an amazing feat. Congratulations. You've overcome adversity and you've worked hard. And while some of the weeks seem very long, and I know some of the call nights were extremely long, please take a moment to reflect on all of the good things that happened during the past 4 years and how things and the 4 years will have seemed to have flown by. You're about to embark on the next stage of your medical career. I want to look around at all of the people here in this audience, your family, your friends, your significant others, your partners, your children. It's time for them to celebrate as well, because without all of those family supports, you would not be here today. I would not be here today. So thank you to all of your friends and family. I want to invite you to celebrate tonight. This should be a time of celebration. Please have fun. Look back on your 4 years. Think about, try to remember this because the time will fly and you may not always remember the granular details, but really try to think about the joys, the challenges, some of the sorrow, some of the accomplishments. You have been involved in our patients' lives and communities in some of the happiest times of their lives, whether or not it's having a new baby, or sometimes it's the saddest times of their lives when they've had a family member die or a child. It's a very privileged profession that we have. And I want people to reflect upon that. And I think as it was said earlier, every patient has something to teach you. So don't ever forget that. I want you to know that as you're heading into your residency and your other postgraduate training positions, some people will be staying, some people will be going, I'm sure. It's been a privilege to be your Dean of Medicine and your Vice Dean. I want you to know that the Faculty of Medicine here at Memorial University absolutely wishes you all the best as you continue on your professional journey. And I know that you will make competent, compassionate physicians. Your medical education that you've received here at Memorial University, make no mistake, is world class. It is second to none, and you should be proud of your success and your degrees from Memorial University. For those who are staying here at Memorial doing their postgraduate training, I look forward to seeing you. In my other role, I'm an anesthesiologist and I do OB anesthesia as well. I look forward to seeing you on the wards and clinically. For those of you who are continuing your education in other parts of the country, please keep in touch. Please come back and be part of our amazing alumni and let us know how you're doing and what you're doing, and let us celebrate your successes with you. In closing, I want to say my sincere, heartfelt congratulations to you all, to your families, as I said, and to your supports, and welcome to becoming a doctor of medicine, and congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. McKeen. We'll step forward. We're going to do the valedictorian. And now I'd like to recognize the class valedictorian who's been selected by her own class of 2024. This learner has made significant contributions to undergraduate student life, and her leadership qualities, research endeavors, and volunteer work have earned her numerous awards and educational grants. Prior to medical school, she completed a Bachelor of Business Administration and a Master of Science in Medicine and Clinical Epidemiology, both from Memorial University. She spent the last 4 years serving as class president, was a student representative on the NLMA Board of Directors, Faculty of Medicine Culture of Excellence Committee, and Faculty of Medicine Curriculum Review Team. She led the 2022 Faculty of Medicine Accreditation Independent Student Analysis, which was involved with the Canadian Atlantic Medical Students Association, and was a sponsorship lead for the Monte Carlo Charity Gala. She was also been a peer facilitator with the Gathering Rounds. She's a content expert, Provincial Health Research Ethics Board, and has been heavily involved with Let's Talk Science, a national nonprofit educational organization. She was awarded the 2009 Chancellor's Graduate Award and nominated for the 2024 Chancellor's Undergraduate Award for demonstrating the greatest contribution to student life at Memorial University and the water community. And most important of all, a budding orthopod.
Okay, thank you for the introduction, Dr. Stone and Dr. Stefanelli. So now that my face is probably the same color as my suit, I really am extremely honored to have a few minutes to address the room. So good evening, class of 2024, parents, guardians, significant others, family, friends, and other distinguished guests. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Georgia, and as Dr. Stone said, I have had the distinct privilege of not only being a learner in the class of 2024, but I've had served as class president for the last 4 years and was selected by this very fine group of people to represent them as class valedictorian. And for those of you in the room that do know me, it has been a sometimes wild, sometimes gut-wrenching, but incredibly fulfilling and wholesome 4 years of working alongside you as pre-clerks, clerks, on various committees, various projects, research, extracurriculars, and so on and so forth. So as I looked at this room full of people, and as I was the one that was dealing with the tickets for this evening, I can say, Taylor Swift who, it was harder to get Shingles tickets. So I know that there are exactly 346 seats that make up this auditorium. I know from my own experience, and I'm sure that I can speak on behalf of my 75 graduating classmates, that there are far more than 346 people that have been an integral part of our journey over the last 4 years, as well as the years prior to getting into medical school. It has been a journey of relentless dedication, perseverance, and unwavering commitment to the pursuit of knowledge. I know we have told you countless times, but I'm taking this opportunity again to thank all of you, from all of us, for being a listening ear when we asked, or even if we didn't, for holding our hands when we needed, for picking us up when we fell, and most certainly for celebrating with us when we succeeded. I'm sure you know that you have helped shape us into the humans we are today, and for that, we are forever grateful. So I'd like to take us back to just over 4 years ago, to the beginning of 2020. So in January of that year, my mother, who lives and breathes on Yahoo News, sent my brother and I an article about some kind of virus in China. And as we usually do, I'm sorry, Mom, I don't know where you're sitting, we sort of brushed her off. And little did we know that the reality of that news article would truly grip all of us just a few weeks down the road. So I remember sitting in ortho clinic. I was doing research at the time. And this was the morning of March 11th, 2020. This also happened to be my birthday, and it was the day that med acceptance letters for the Newfoundland and Labrador applicants came out. If you catch my husband at the reception later, he will probably share embarrassing things about me from that day. In any case, I need not remind everyone that less than a week later, life as we knew it essentially ceased. I found myself wondering, would medical school start late? Would medical school start at all? I wondered if and how medical students would be needed, and I may have even gone so far down the rabbit hole that I considered the possibility of having to go through the application process all over again. So when it became clear that we would indeed start in August 2020 as planned, I was of course elated, but like many of us, a little bit disappointed that it wasn't quite going to be the medical school that we were used to and had seen kind of people go through. I'll be frank, it was weird introducing ourselves to other people over a computer screen. However, we are resilient creatures, And we slowly adapted and gained confidence and maybe a little bit of proficiency with both Zoom and WebEx. And thankfully, I get to stand in front of you here this evening and not wonder if I'm on mute or not. So during virtual clinical skills and navigating physical exams on ourselves, I doubt I'm the only one of us who wondered, how in the heck am I going to remember what side of the body the spleen is on? Thankfully, I'm doing orthopedics, so I don't need to know that anyway. Jokes aside, medical school is not for the faint of heart. Medical school during a pandemic was, in my opinion, a whole other challenge. It tested us on all kinds of levels, and we conquered every darn one of them to sit here today. So I hope that each and every one of you are proud of yourselves and everything that you have accomplished so far. I think we had to have extra courage, determination, and self-motivation than classes before us and perhaps even after us. So courage. In general, applying to medical school and bearing everything takes courage. For us, I think it took more courage to put ourselves out there, make friends virtually, and foster those friendships when we were in person. It certainly takes courage to start new rotations every 6 to 8 weeks and bring our best selves to the floors, clinics, or operating rooms every day. It took courage to apply to visiting electives and to show up in a new place, at a new hospital, and still bring your A game. Determination. In general, bringing ourselves to study maybe every day, but maybe just before block exams, let's be honest, takes determination. For us, I think it took even more determination to roll out of bed, sit in our pajamas or some version of business on top, lounge on bottom, and listen, stay alert, and be interactive on WebEx for 7 or 8 hours per day. Self-motivation. In general, I think that the field of medicine requires self-motivation. And for us, I think that staying on task and relatively on time with those pesky pre-recorded lectures took extra self-motivation. And it certainly took self-motivation to come super prepared for those one-on-one clinical skills sessions. I think being successful in medicine, and perhaps in all areas of life, we have to be true to ourselves. Specific to our chosen education path, we had to figure out what avenue of medicine we liked, but also what avenue of medicine most suited us, so that we can wake up every day in a position to best serve our patients at the height of our abilities. So class of 2024, I need you to help me out with this next part. So, show of hands if you have ever heard normal heart sounds. Okay, every hand better be up. Okay, test question, all right. Show of hands if you've ever heard a heart murmur. What a bunch of liars. Okay, show of hands if you've ever fooled up Trove space or Castell sign. Well, thankfully, Kevin's the only future gastroenterologist in the room. Hands up if you've ever looked at a patient's eyes with the otoscope. So, for the non-medical people in the room, that's the light with the pointy end that goes in your ear. I don't think you want that coming at your eye. So, hands up. Hands up if you've ever fed the nasogastric tube through someone's mouth instead of their nose. Dr. Stevens, I see you. And hands up if you've ever set someone up for a bag valve mask and completely forgot to turn on the oxygen. Oh, good. I thought it was going to be just me. Perfect. The point is, we've all made some minor blunders along the way, and I'm sure we'll continue to do so. We're all human. I want us to think about those blunders, don't forget them, and do better next time, as our patients will be counting on us. So today, we not only celebrate our academic achievements, but also the profound transformations that we have undergone as individuals. We entered medical school as eager students, driven by a passion to make a difference in the lives of others. I think we are all leaving as competent physicians, still driven by that passion to make a difference in the lives of others, but we are now equipped with the skills, knowledge, and compassion to navigate the complexities of healthcare and advocate for our patients. I am completely honored to be in the presence of future internists, pediatricians, radiation oncologists, neurosurgeons, general practitioners, orthopedic surgeons, pediatric neurologists, general surgeons, urologists, radiologists, psychiatrists, dermatologists, obstetricians and gynecologists, emergency physicians, and anesthesiologists. We all entered medical school from different backgrounds with different goals for what we wanted to achieve at the end of the day. We each have our own strengths, and that's what makes us individuals and helps create our special patient interactions. You're all incredible and bring your own unique flair to everything that you do. Shine your light in whatever form that is for you and keep shining it bright. So as we embark on the next phase of our journey, let us never forget the lessons we learned, first within the hallways of our homes when we were virtual, and of course, those of Memorial University's Faculty of Medicine. Let us remember the mentors that have guided us, the patients who have inspired us, and the friendships that have sustained us. Let us carry forward the values of integrity, empathy, and humility that define our profession, and never lose sight of the privilege and responsibility that comes with the title of MD. So cheers, class of 2024. We did it!
Thank you, Dr. Darmonkown. You're clearly too eloquent to have gone into orthopedic surgery. And I have to ask Adam now to change the camera so people watching from home can see the presentations. So we're going to continue with the presentations of awards. Each year, our graduating class participates in a survey to select the learners and professional colleagues who best exemplify a range of distinguished characteristics. Dr. McKeen, please come forward to present these awards to the graduates. I will read a brief description of one award, then Craig will take over and we'll go back and forth before inviting the recipient to the stage. Award recipients, please kindly remain at the front for a photo. And I'll start with the Bob Green Memorial Award in Medicine. Dr. Bob Green was well known for providing outstanding patient care with determination and strength of character in overcoming multiple medical problems. He graduated on time, went on to specialize in anesthesia, obtaining a fellowship in anesthesiology. This award was established by the MD class of 1981 during their 30th reunion. And this award is being presented to Dr. Claire Nielsen. This award is specifically presented to a fourth-year student who's experienced adversity during the Doctor of Medicine degree program. Congratulations, Dr. Nielsen.
Our next award is the Dr. Charles Nardini Memorial Award. Dr. Chip Nardini was a medical student who died accidentally in 1986. He received his degree posthumously. This award was established in memory of Dr. Nardini and his classmates, a class in 1986, and the award is being presented to Dr. Megan Hickey. This award goes to the fourth-year medical student who best exemplifies the characteristics of leadership, friendliness, good humor, care, and concern for fellow students and patients. Congratulations, Dr. Hickey.
Dr. Gregory Rideout Award was established by Dr. Rideout's classmates, class of 2003, in memory of his heroic act that saved the life of a man who would have drowned but for his intervention. This award is presented to Dr. Katie Landry. This award is presented to a fourth-year student who has demonstrated an outstanding commitment to activities outside of the medical school that will benefit others. Congratulations, Dr. Lang.
The next award is the Dr. I.E. Rusted Award. Dr. Ian Rusted is the founding father of the medical school. It's because of his vision and determination that Newfoundland Labrador has a medical school. The medical school admitted its first students in September of 1969. This award is presented to Dr. Darmonkown. So this award goes to the fourth-year medical student who's made the greatest contribution to the graduating class. Congratulations. Thank you, Dr. McKeen. Now we will ask Rosemary, Stanoev, and Amelia Lacey to come forward to present the following awards to the faculty and staff who were chosen through the survey.
The D.W. Ingham Award is a faculty award that was established in 2004 by the Medical Graduate Society to honor the late and great Dr. Wallace Ingham, Professor Emeritus, Internal Medicine, for his outstanding contributions to medical education throughout his career. This award is presented to Dr. Natalie Bridget. This award goes to a physician who has provided outstanding clinical teaching, shown interest in learners and their well-being, and served as a positive role model. Congratulations, Natalie.
Next is the Silver Orator Award. This award is presented to the professor who's provided the finest lectures with respect to content, style, humor, and aptness. This award is presented to Dr. Paul Johnson. And the only guy who can get away. And the only guy that can get away with penis jokes in rounds.
The Community Physician Teaching Award. This year, there are actually two recipients of this award, as the votes resulted in an absolute tie. This award is presented to the rural physician who has provided outstanding teaching and guidance to learners during clerkship. This year, the award is presented to Dr. Wendy Graham and Dr. Jason Peckett.
The next award is the Outstanding Resident Award. This award is presented to the resident who has provided outstanding teaching and guidance to learners during their clerkship. This award is presented to Dr. Sarah Benson.
The Honorary Order of Killick. This award is presented to staff members that have made an outstanding contribution to the graduating class of 2024 above and beyond the call of duty. This award is presented to Kelly Penton. Thank you, Dr. Stanoev and Dr. Lacey. I will now ask Dr. McKeen to return and present the remaining awards.
Our next award is the Gold Humanism Honor Society Award. The Arnold P. Gold Foundation initiated the development of the Gold Humanism Honor Society, designed to recognize fourth-year medical students who demonstrate exemplary humanistic qualities essential to good doctoring. I didn't know that was a word, doctor. I didn't. Integrity, excellence, compassion, altruism, respect, empathy, and service. They're voted on by the graduating class, and they're awarded a certificate of honor and specially designed GHHS lapel pin by the society. Congratulations to the following learners who have been selected for the Gold Humanism Award. Please come forward as I call your name. After receiving the award, remain on stage in the seating area to my left and wait for a group photo. First award goes to Stefanelli. Next, Dr. Jesse Byrne. Dr. Carla Penny. Dr. Erin Logan. Dr. Miles Linden. Dr. Megan Hickey. Dr. Melanie Collins. Dr. Emily Collis. And last but not least, Dr. Sarah West. So that ends the awards that are voted on by the class. Mark's up next.
Next is the class of 2024 Dean's List. Next presentations will be made to the learners who are eligible for the Dean's List. These learners have placed in the top 10% of their class overall average. Congratulations to the following learners who have qualified for the Dean's List. Please come forward as I call your name after receiving your award. Remain on stage in the seating area for the photo opportunity, please. First recipient, Dr. Jade Roberts. Dr. Zoe Breen. Dr. Rosemary Stanoev. Dr. Aileen Feschuk. Dr. Daniel Pierce is not in the audience. So, Dr. Rachel Sorensen. Dr. Danielle Sevier. And again, last but not least, Dr. Henry Powers.
Our last award is the University Medal for Academic Excellence. The next award is the University Medal for Academic Excellence. This award is nominated by the Senate Committee on Undergraduate Scholarship, Bursaries, and Awards by the Dean or Department Head. Only one medal is awarded in any academic year. Recipients of this award are judged to be an outstanding student in the professional studies of the faculty. The award goes to Dr. Jade Roberts. So now we're going to get to the lumber part of the evening. I'm going to start the presentation of shingles. I would like Dr. McKeen to remain present and pass out the shingles to the class of 2024. Each of our newest medical doctors receives an individual shingle to hang in their practice, still over my door in my office at St. Clair's. The shingles are beautifully created by Terry O'Brien. Mr. O'Brien's daughter graduated from the class of 2021 and has generously continued to provide his craftsmanship to the class of 2024. Graduates, please come forward as your name is called. Jennifer will take a picture of you. Lots of cheering, whooping, wow, whatever. No decorum tonight. The first shingle goes to Dr. Rafayat Damilola Atikunle.
The next shingle goes to Dr. Jocelyn Adundo.
Next one, and another budding orthopod, Dr. Dill Amayawi.
Dr. Nicole Berry.
Dr. Madison Porcella.
Dr. Zoe Green.
Dr. Jesse Byrne.
Dr. Melanie Collins.
Dr. Emily Collis.
Dr. Sarah Cross.
Dr. Julie Croucher.
Dr. Olivia Crumby.
Thank you.
I get tired of saying this over and over again, but another budding orthopod, Dr. Don Kern. Welcome.
Dr. Georgia Darmonkown.
Dr. Ibrahim Dogar.
Dr. Anthony Duchesne.
Dr. Kathleen Dyer.
Dr. Benjamin Edwards.
Dr. Chantel Estrada.
Dr. Samarth Pajaria.
Dr. Aileen Feschuk.
Dr. Ian Gamble.
Dr. Brooklyn Goucher.
Dr. Grayson Gould.
Dr. Victoria Han.
Dr. Lauren Hemphill.
Dr. Megan Hickey.
Dr. Sarah Higdon.
Dr. Nikita Chakota.
Dr. Ian James.
Dr. Arshia Kazaruni.
Dr. Kevin Keshkameti.
Dr. Liam Kennedy.
Dr. Matthew Kennedy.
Dr. Amelia Lacey.
Dr. Fiona Landels.
Dr. Callie Langmead.
Dr. Daisy Jang Tong Lee.
Dr. Miles Linden.
Dr. Kirkland Locker.
Dr. Erin Logan.
Dr. Christina Major.
Dr. Erica Mitchell.
Dr. Sakif Muhammad.
Dr. Zachary Nash.
Dr. Claire Nielsen.
Dr. Samuel Nohook.
Dr. Natasha Knoll.
Dr. Bridget O'Brien LaPrairie.
Dr. Liam Payne.
Dr. Carla Penny.
Dr. Emily Philpott.
Dr. Henry Power.
Dr. Heather Richards.
Dr. Liam Robbins.
Dr. Jade Roberts.
Dr. Barrett Sellers.
Dr. Danielle Sevier.
Dr. Ashley Skinner.
Dr. Sarah Small.
Dr. Richard Smith.
Dr. Rachel Sorensen.
Dr. Rosemary Stanoev.
Dr. Madison Stevens.
And another budding orthopod, Dr. Jonathan Stone.
I better up my game for orthopods and 0 neurologists. Dr. Anna Thomas.
Dr. Haley Walsh.
Dr. Sarah Wasson.
Dr. Sarah Williams.
Dr. Robin Woodrow.
Dr. Danielle Junker.
Last but not least, Dr. Selina Zhao. Fortunately, some students were not here to accept their shingles. Dr. Matthew Lapper. Dr. Matthew Lamont. Dr. Dylan Patterson. Dr. Daniel Pierce. That concludes the presentation of shingles. Thank you to Jennifer Armstrong for creating the PowerPoint. I will ask Adam to prepare for the Hippocratic Oath. It is with great pride and pleasure that I introduce Dr. William Pryse-Phillips, mentor, colleague, friend, retired neurologist, professor emeritus, one of the founding fathers of the discipline of neurology in Newfoundland and Labrador, children's book author, gardener, outdoorsman, maker of his own cheese, maker of his own wine. I believe he takes his shoes and socks off and crushes the grapes with his toes. He is the true Newfoundland version of the most interesting man alive. He should be the Dos Equis photostop. Bill has also been a mentor and educator of generations of memorial students. But independent of that, he's been an educator of the entire world. He's produced multiple textbooks. He's had countless scientific articles published. And he had this during a decade that spanned over a career that spanned over 5 decades. It is with great privilege that he will present to us the Oath of Hippocrates. Please welcome Dr. Bill Pryse-Phillips.
Thank you, Mark. Very kind. Oh, there you are. Memorials Physicians of 2024. I'm honored to lead you in the Hippocratic Oath this evening. Before I do so, I have a few words to say. Later, I shall really only have one. I think I was one of the first to address you as students on the Oath of Geneva, as you came to this school some 4 years ago. Now I'm privileged to deliver a last lecture to you. Now, physicians. Sybil Bedford, commenting on life, wrote this: "You see, when one's young, one doesn't feel part of it yet, the human condition. One does things because they are not for good. Everything is a rehearsal, to be repeated ad lib, to be put right when the curtain goes up in earnest. One day, you realize the curtain was up all the time. That was the performance." Today, medicine's complexity exceeds our individual capacities as doctors. In future, you'll be members of a team, not always as leaders. But when you are in charge, never forget the awe in which you are held. An old French proverb says in translation, "The presence of the doctor is the first part of the cure." Ask yourselves why. The curtain is now up on your performance as physicians. After striving to achieve this moment, you face all that lies ahead as members of a profession. But what is a profession? It is a vocation in which the skills of the individual are used to benefit others. It is an occupation in which one is prepared to give, often without counting the cost, glad to provide service, sometimes without seeking a reward. As Sir Winston Churchill wrote, "We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give." Yes, a profession is all of these things. It's an honorable, learned discipline practiced by those who enjoy mutual trust and who cooperate with and support each other. As physicians, I hope that you will profess its values now and forever. And in doing so, recall how you achieved this status. It was largely because of your personal motivation, application, dedication. But most of you also needed moral and tangible support to sustain you. Never forget your debt to those that provided it. They rejoice in your success, and like the faculty of this school, are proud that their confidence in you was so manifestly well placed. May the good that you do in your professional lives sustain that confidence forever. And tonight, you may be proud that you are all winners. The top third of the class will make the best researchers. The middle third of the class will make the best doctors. The lower third of the class will make the most money. In a moment, I shall invite you to take the oath of Hippocrates. But first, I'd like to quote the words of Sir Robert Hutcheson, a former president of the RCP in London. It is known as the physician's prayer. From inability to let well alone, from too much zeal for the new and contempt for what is old, from putting knowledge before wisdom, science before art, and cleverness before common sense, from treating patients as cases, and from making the cure of the disease more grievous than the endurance of the same. Good Lord, deliver us. So now to the oath. Affirm, and you are bound forever. So when in the future you are faced with temptation or tribulation, doubt, difficulty, despair, and you will be, you will recall these principles which you agree will, as a still small voice within you, always guide your professional behavior. These are precepts that for over 3,000 years have been used to define the ethical basis of medicine. If you wish voluntarily to subscribe to them in the presence of this audience of family and friends, then join me in reciting a version of the ancient words, standing or sitting as may be most convenient for you. Let's recite it together. And come see what's written up there. As the ancient Greeks swore by their gods, the graduate in medicine of Memorial University of Newfoundland, according to my ability and judgment, I will keep this oath and stipulation. I will follow that system of regimen which I consider for the benefit of my patients, and abstain from whatever is deleterious and mischievous. Into whatever house I shall enter, I will go into it for the benefit of the sick, and will abstain from every voluntary act of mischief and corruption, ever in connection with my professional practice, or not in connection with it. I see or hear in the lives of men while I continue to keep this oath unviolated, may it be granted me to enjoy life and the practice of the art, respected by all people in all times. Which should I trespass and violate this oath, may the reverse be my lot. Thank you. I said that there would be only one word from me in conclusion. As a member of the company physicians for some 63 years and a bit, and on behalf of all of the other members of our profession, I say it now. Welcome.
So congratulations, graduates, and welcome to the medical profession. We're going to talk about the class tile next. We're going to present the class tile. Each year, a class tile is created by the graduating classes signed by all the learners. I don't know where everybody know where this came from, but they used to be physical tiles in lecture theater A. Those square foam tiles that we had to put up there, and I think they've all been immortalized in lounge somewhere now, right? Taken down out of it? Yeah. That's where they started, and everybody every year had to put a tile up. This year, Dr. Erin Logan and Dr. Selina Zhao created a tile that you're about to see reflects their experience of medical school during the pandemic. I'd like to call forward Dr. Zhao and Dr. Logan to present their tile on behalf of the class. After our event today, the tile will be left up in front of each graduate, designed before it's sent for framing, be hung in the student lounge alongside a collection that spans roughly 4 decades in the making. So we got to push the button to see the tile. Brilliant, brilliant, looks great. So we're nearing the end of Shingles and Convocation ceremony. First, I'd like to invite Dr. McKeen to the stage. Ooh.
Dr. Zhao and Dr. Logan will give a brief explanation.
Oh, so
An orthopedic surgeon.
think we can find somewhere in the middle.
Yes.
So hello, everyone. Congratulations to all of us on getting to this point. We have had an amazing time together as a cohort, and I think that we have had some wonderful achievements. We should all be very proud of overcoming the challenges and adversity of beginning medical school in the middle of a pandemic, which was not an easy feat, but here we stand before you today. Although we faced many trying situations, we have come out of this stronger, wiser, with a lovely sense of humor and a greater appreciation for virtual therapy than ever before.
We are pleased to reveal our class tile, which we believe represents the resiliency of our cohort, highlighting our adaptability and our unwavering sense of humor throughout it all. So, class of 2024, may you always be fine.
Thank you, thank you. We're nearing the end of Shingles and the Convocation ceremony. But first, I'd like to invite Dr. McKeen on the stage for some closing remarks. After which I have some final announcements and acknowledgements. So we'll let Dr. McKeen go first and then I'm back up. Right, Charlotte?
Smart orthopedic surgeon knows who his boss is.
He needs this, right?
Well, everybody, the formal portion of our event is coming to a close. And again, I want to express my sincere gratitude to all the family and friends and supporters that have been here tonight, who have supported our graduates while they've completed their degree. I also want to thank all of our staff and our faculty for all that they have done to support our learners to get to this point. Thank you, everybody, very much. Please join me as we take a moment to recognize this amazing milestone in your medical education. Congratulations to all of our doctors of medicine this evening. In just a minute after Dr. Stone finishes his final remarks, I'd like to ask that family, friends, and special guests move to the atrium on our first floor for our reception. But I would, what's that? Okay. So we'll ask that our family, friends, and guests will move to the med foyer and for our reception, but we would ask that our graduates stay behind because I think they want to have a group photo opportunity. And I'll hand it over to Dr. Stone. Again, my sincere gratitude. Thank you very much. And congratulations to the class of 2024.
Thank you, Dr. McKeen. I would like to take a moment to acknowledge those from the class of 2024 would like to thank for making tonight's celebration a success.
Can you read that?
Dr. Dolores McKeen, Dr. William Pryse-Phillips, me, and Dr. Stefanelli. It's actually a pleasure. Me and Mark have great fun arranging to do this. It's always a good laugh. We're good friends on the outside here. I don't think we have any hate towards each other. He's my neurologist whenever, if I ever need him. And I'll fix his feet.
My nephew's foot
His nephew's
and
foot.
my nephew's foot.
The class of 2024 graduating committee, Georgia, Rosie, right? You go by Rosie, and Amelia. Team of volunteers, Henny Remko, Alex Gamble, Levi Bolton, Caitlin Collins, Alex is Darmonkown, and Polina Nischuk. LWS, H. Sims as always, Communication Office and UJME, doing a great job of setting it all up. And NL Health Services. I would like to invite you all to join us in the mid-school foyer. I think I've said most of this. I would like to take some time to acknowledge the support of mental health services for the contributions toward this evening's reception. They've also brought a 360 camera for your enjoyment. Okay, cool, whatever that is. I hope anyone would like individualized pictures. Jennifer's going to be around. That was Jennifer right there. Down to around to take pictures. Additional seating is available next to Theater D, out near the cafeteria, and a smaller learning rooms and reception area if everybody needs to sit, have a little drink. I'd ask that the class stay back for group photo and sign the tile. Congratulations to the class of 2024, and thank you all for coming. You're dismissed. How much time are you good?